Good evening and welcome. Since we're all waiting for the launch of New World, I wanted to start narrating some of the New World lore. Huge thanks to NewWorldForge.com, who has all the lore that can be found in the game. So sit back, relax, check out some of my playlists, and let me know if you like them and I'll create some more. The Vitae Aeternum Pact is a piece of lore in the Tales of Aeternum. The first entry is named the Formal Pact. On this island of eternal life, there have been established three parties of interest: the Marauders, the Syndicate, and the Covenant, that shall thusly be referred to as factions. These factions represent their individual interests and motivations that shall be introduced to every new denizen, henceforth referred to as the subject of Aeternum. These introductions shall take place in the order of signing: first Marauders, then Syndicate, and finally Covenant. Each settlement's magistrate shall direct the subject to the Marauder's representative of the corresponding settlement, who may issue a test of mettle in order to judge the subject's physical prowess. After said test, the Marauder representative must send the subject to the Syndicate representative of the settlement so that they may issue a test of wit in order to judge the subject's cunning in battle. After said test, the Syndicate representative must send the subject to the Covenant representative of the settlement so that they may issue a test of valor in order to judge the subject's gallantry. Once all three tests have been issued, the subject is returned to the magistrate of the settlement and make a formal, immutable decision on which faction they wish to swear their undying allegiance to. Henceforth, the subject shall belong to their chosen faction and be available to fight in wars for settlement control, as well as conduct missions for influence within their faction. All members of each faction agree to conduct their fighting away from the settlements of Aeternum, as they are hereby decreed sanctuary. So the pact is decreed, and so it shall be, for as long as there is life on Aeternum. The document has been signed by the Marauders' representative, Commander Josie, the Syndicate's representative, Alchemist Long, and the Covenant's representative, Adjudicator Amano. The next entry in the Vitae Aeternum Pact lore is entitled United in Blood. You can find this somewhere within the Everfall settlement.
My fellow Marauders, if you will allow me a brief moment, we are among the bravest and most noble fighters on this island. Here in our faction, it matters not your creed or origin, but how you ferociously fight and conquer. The Vitae Aeternum Pact dictates that we issue a test of strength to all newcomers, and once proven worthy, extend the offer of membership to them. It is disappointing to turn them towards the Syndicate, to give undeserved weight to their well-spun fantasies, but it is the price to pay to ensure potential recruits make a well-informed decision. They will join up with us for life, with no regrets. While all factions must band together to fight the corruption, the Marauders are without pretense, an uncomplicated bunch united in bloodshed on the battlefield. What more could an adventurer ask for? Thank you for your time. Commander Chauhan of Everfall.
The next entry in the Vitae Aeternum Pact lore is entitled United in Mind, which can be found somewhere within the Everfall settlement.
The Syndicate may have thinkers from all corners of the world and a seemingly incongruent group of intellectuals, but we are united in the use of our mind before our fists or our hearts, often prone to error as they are. The Syndicate is superior in its objectivity and logical outlook on conflicts. We may have internal disagreements, but there is one thing we can agree on. We are better equipped for battle with our sharp, focused minds than the other factions. Still, we must cooperate with the thoughtless Marauders and Covenant against the corrupted in the end, lest we desire mutually assured destruction at the hands of the Red Tide. Thank you for your time. I am Alchemist Oliveira of Everfall.
The next entry within the Vitae Aeternum Pact lore is entitled United in Spirit, which also can be found somewhere within the Everfall settlement. Our sacred cause cannot be beaten. The snakes of the Marauders and Syndicate stand no chance against us, but at the same time can be, if wielded properly, vital tools in the fight against corruption. The enemy of my enemy is my friend sometimes, and the same applies to all those fighting corruption. Though it is said, to lie with dogs, you wake with fleas. Cooperation is at times necessary if the corrupted tide is to be stemmed. This Vitae Aeternum Pact calls us together in the handing off of new denizens to one another to see where they best fit in, and if they are pious enough, to join the covenant. After the choice is made, we still must rely upon others if we are to truly end the threat of corruption. Thank you for your time. Adjudicator Amano of Everfall. The next entry in the Vitae Aeternum Pact lore is entitled Pureal Desires, from the Journal of Commander Edwin of the Marauders. First Light. Should just crush them all right now. Pact be damned. What use is the pact if no one does anything? If I were leading the Marauders, I'd make certain that things happened. Force those syndicate cowards to give over what they've researched, and wipe the sanctimonious smirk off the faces of the Covenant with my blade if I had to. Commander Joshi is a great woman, but the others bind her hands. If the weak were meant to rule, then it wouldn't be so easy to get rid of them, would it? I'll talk with her more about it next time I see her. The next entry of the Vitae Aeternum Pact lore is entitled Biding Time, from the records of Alchemist Long of the Syndicate. First Light. Commander Joshi has again proposed that we carry the fight to the north, and while the day will come that we must do this, the time is not yet right. I and the rest of my brethren are certain that we will uncover something that will give us an edge over the corruption. The ancients must have had some way of fighting against it. Perhaps there were too few at the end, or there was not enough time. That half-wit Amano tried to say that the ancients fell because they lacked faith, that the covenant is stronger than the ancients were because of it. I could have throttled her right then. We must not be hasty, and I must control my temper at this time. The Aeternum Pact lore is titled The Unyielding Balance, an unsent letter from Adjudicator Dempster of the Covenant. First Light. While this pact has made these sanctuary settlements much quieter, I fear it has only prolonged the existing conflict. Each leader knows that the corruption is the true enemy, the rot at the center of all chaos across the island, yet none is willing to step back and accept another viewpoint. I refuse to be caught up in the rank venality of the Marauders, and even if Alchemist Long and I sometimes agree on the blessed nature of Azoth, her inability to find faith in our cause makes her a difficult ally. While I'm certain our beliefs will act as both sword and shield against the darkness ahead, I am at least willing to grant that some members of the other factions make points to consider. That does not make me doubt our cause, no. I believe it makes me stronger in it. The next entry for the Vitae Aeternum Pact lore is entitled Discordant Trinity, from the personal notes of Commander Joshi of the Marauders. Windsward. I am aware that not all share my viewpoint, hence the purpose behind the pact, but part of that was agreeing to join together to fight against the corruption. Each time I propose that we take the fight to the north, to the heart of the enemy, I am blocked by imbeciles. The Syndicate keeps saying that now is not the right time, that we must wait and find more knowledge of the ancients, but doesn't stop us from losing fine people each day to this corruption. And the Covenant are no better, thinking that their beliefs will keep them safe. The only thing needed to keep us safe is a blade, a strong arm, and the will to use it. The next entry in the Vitae Aeternum Pact lore is entitled Hidden Strength, from the Journal of Alchemist Johns of the Syndicate. Windsward. Progress is being made, but slowly. Others have spread far and wide, searching for any and every remnant of the ancients. Anything that can aid us in the coming battle is immediately sent to a settlement for safekeeping or research, though we often have to fight off bands of marauders or covenant in the wilds. They see us as easy targets. They see us as weak. But they do not know the knowledge we possess, which give us an edge. Often a threat is more useful than an action, so we have reached a stalemate. We may not be willing to throw ourselves at an enemy, but we are more than capable of defending ourselves. The next and final entry of the Vitae Aeternum Pact lore is entitled Shield of Faith, a discarded draft from Adjudicator Dempster of the Covenant. Windsward. Those heathens! They refuse to understand that our cause is just and right, and with that on our side, we cannot fail. If they would accept that we have been chosen by Aeternum to fight, to restore the glory and divinity of Azoth, we could wipe the corruption away in a matter of weeks. But no. Those marauder fools want to charge in with nothing to protect them but their armor and blades. Without faith in our cause, they will fall like a bloody harvest before the might of the corrupted. But still, they do wish to fight. The conniving syndicate thinkers, on the other hand, want to only sit and wait and hide, hoping for Providence to fall into their laps.